Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations and Repairs. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the UDIAG X-60 scan tool. First UDIAG tool that I can recall checking out. I hope it performs well, but we're going to find out together. Let's do it. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box. Take a look at what it comes with. Nice hard-sided case. Looks good, like a lunchbox. Okay. And there's our main unit there. Oh, I like it already. It's got a kickstand, and it does have a camera for taking photographs and documenting damage to a vehicle. And the kit comes with a couple of doodads as well. We've got it is a Bluetooth dongle, so it is wireless. That's nice. But it also comes with some adapters for some European cars, some other cars here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. That's a clear sign that you're playing with Pro Power stuff instead of midline. Okay, so we do have a Ethernet card, power pack here, and some adapters for the various systems you might run into. USB to USB-C. This is our USB to Ethernet, so if we're going to do downloads, and then there it is for programming, right? Nice. All right, so a pretty good set. Then the kit has a manual and some other stuff in here. Let's see what we got. Packing list and a quick start guide. Okay, well, let me get this thing set up. We'll turn it on and get it set up here, and then once it's all fired up and ready to go, we'll take it out to a car and see what it can do. All right, out of the gate, I gotta say how happy I am, how refreshing it is to have a scan tool right out of the box, just open up and be ready to use. No selling my personal information, no crap, just ready to rock and roll out of the box. Okay, here we go with that. So you can see, I'm not gonna read them all off to you here, but auto reset, tire size adjustment, window calibration, knock sensor, key matching, gear learning, gateway module calibration, throttle adaptation. These are just the, brake pad reset, adaptive lighting. So, I mean, full setup here, no doubt. Okay, get out of that. Module, you can add stuff to this, tire pressure sensor, a cool Bluetooth printer, video scope, so like a bore scope, battery tester, and a full scanner, a oscilloscope, which is really a nice feature for that. Files, pretty self-explanatory. Anything we do freeze frames or recordings of, we're gonna have it there. Repair info, I mean, here you go with your stuff here. We do have a calculator on board. You can open it up to a web browser, do diagnostics research right from the driver's seat, which is always cool. E-learning, fault code library, vehicle coverage list, user's manual for this thing. The more in-depth user manual is right built in here. File management and gateway unlock for FCA, that kind of stuff, which is garbage. Update, feedback if you have a problem. So if you get a glitch with these things, if you find a system that it won't talk to, that it should talk to, this is a way for you to say, hey, I'm working on a Volvo's and it won't log into the CEM on a 2001, right? The next update they do, those engineers then have that data and they can get in there and do the proper update. All right, so here we are, browser, app update, firmware fix, customer management, business info, marrying the dongles. If you lose your dongle, you can always get another one. And there you go there. I mean, that's all pretty self-explanatory. Basically, all the things you're gonna need to do here. As far as file, do we want screenshots, screen recorder, and if you turn those on, you're gonna see little things that pop up there. And I'm gonna leave those off, but just to show you, you can do screen recording with this. Just go into here to turn it off. Sample data stream, this is kind of cool. You can record good readings, so like grams per second on an air mass meter. And then you'll have that to compare to one if you have one that's out of spec. And then we have, basically this is like the Android stuff here, Wi-Fi, what we got going on, and Do we want metric or standard? Our time zone will switch over here to the East Coast. There we go. And so that'll fix that part anyway. So that's that. It's very intuitive on how you use it here. It just doesn't have a whole lot of confusion to be there. Diagnostics, we'll get into that here, and you can see, I'll go through the list, I guess. I'm not going to name them all off, but every major player is in here for sure. Genesis and Jaguar, Maybach, Mercedes-Benz, Mini, Mitsubishi, Proton still around, Rolls-Royce, Subaru, Suzuki, Toyota of China, Toyota of America, Volkswagen. I mean, full coverage, right? And then you have a history button there, a demo button, and just generic OBD2, right? All right, well, that's it. Let's go out to a car and let's check this thing out. All right, well, here we are in the car. We're going to get into diagnosis, and we're going to check out and see if it'll do a VIN scan. And let's see if it'll find that vehicle. Boom. Looks like it's going to. Boom. Yeah. 2010 Sienna is correct. So that didn't take long. All right, and we're going to go ahead now and do an automatic search and see what it can find. Let's see if it will search, and we can set the area to North America for that one. All right, and we're going to search. Let's see if it can find all of the systems that we have here. This is the XLE Limited, so it has a lot. It does have laser cruise. It does have memory seats. It does have traction control. All right, and you can see here engine stuff and all the rest. All right, so it's going to take a look at that, and now it's going to search for all those computers. Do a full system scan. Again, while it's doing this, I got to point out the fact that you can just literally turn this thing on and get to work without having to go through all of the setup and all of the crap and all of the giving of your personal information already puts this thing a notch above so many others. Beautiful. So it has already got us a full list. Here's all the stuff that it has. Right now I can get into each individual system if I want to. This is generic OBD2. Right, and we got our readiness. So super easy to figure out if somebody's reset a light, if you want to, if you got a problem here, trying to pass inspection and whatnot, right? We can lead live data through to the generic side. Let's see here. Okay. And again, this is all through the generic side here, but let's just see how snappy she is. Oh yeah, almost instantaneous. And of course, you can look at that as a graph as well. Nice. You can set your min-max. We're going to exit out of that, but you can do that. Cool. All right, so that's generic side. Just wanted to show you that real quick because, sometimes it's worth getting into the generic side of things. And of course, we can read freeze frames if it had any set, read and clear fault codes, and do control of those, readiness. All right, so back in here, we can go into engine and ECT. We can even look at laser cruise, which, you know what? I don't think I've ever checked that system. Never really have any problems with it, but let's take a look at that. We can read DTCs, clear them. We can look at live data. Let's take a look at live data. I'm curious what... okay, so pretty much this is just going to be cruise control stuff here, but... wow. All right, so stoplight switch, set cruise switch. Let's take a look at those and just see, right? I hit the brakes, that's gonna flip to on. Let's see here, if I can do this with the other hand here. There it goes, right? So that's working as well. Interesting. More importantly, let's see what it can do special function-wise. Wow, okay, that's cool. I like this. Okay, so this, again, full featured. We can actually reinitialize the laser cruise. And here's some of the special features we can do. A wireless door lock security, power window, illumination, air conditioning, display, compass calibration. Wow. And we'll get in deeper to that in a bit here. All right, we'll back out of this one. And what other ones we want to play with? Let's take a look at body. Yeah, this is a snappy tool. I'm going to ding it a little bit for having an older version of Android. However, it's a locked system, so you shouldn't have any, you're not going to be downloading apps, which is kind of a negative, but also does protect it from the possibility of issues, you know what I mean? All right, so for the BCM here, we got all this stuff here, but we have actuator tests here that we can get into the body control module. And yeah, we have a hazard light. We can turn that on or off. We're gonna just monitor it. I shouldn't have done that, but that we can do that. We can monitor live data while we do the on and off part of it if we want to. So it's gonna pull up the data stream. We'll just select everything because we're just gonna get through that. Cool, and now I'm going to turn the hazard on with the button. And there it is. Hazard is on, and now it's back off. Cool. So bidirectional controls are always going to be a huge deal when doing actual pro level diagnostics. If I have an issue where that button there is not working, well, I just ruled out the fact that it's the wiring or a relay, because if I push the button and the hazards don't come on, but I command it on and it turns on, well, then I know I actually do have a problem with the switch. Same thing, fog light relay, headlight relay, like we can turn those on and off. We can activate the horn and door locks. We'll do the door locks real quick just to show you. We won't monitor the data this time. We're just gonna go the on off here, but we can unlock, well, we'll lock it. There it goes. So just pushing the buttons. Pretty sweet. Again, I got a master switch here that doesn't want to work right or only locks some of the doors. I can override that and command it and see if I've got voltage going to all doors by using that. Really nice. Yeah, this thing's got a ton of bidirectional, no doubt about that. And this is just body control, so. Well, all right, let's get out of this. Let's see what else we have. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at special functions in the body control. So here's where we would get, if you want to get your remote working. And then we do have some customization. I think this is going to bring us back to the other one here. But yeah, wireless door lock. What do we want here? Security, power window, illuminated entry. And I don't know if there's anything else here. I guess we could do, I mean, you have your gateway system, you have your immobilizer. We could mess with the mirror, I guess, real quick here if you want to just see that it gets even into the mirror systems. And actuator test is what we're going to be looking for. And then mirror up and down. Should be able to get that to go. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So again, for bidirectional controls, this one covers pretty much everything there is to cover. Well, that's it. There's not a lot more to say about this tool. I would say this ranks up there amongst top tier level tools. The only thing it's lacking for me is an open setup here. So I can't add extra apps. There's no way to change the apps. Now, you can get into the Android system here. You know, if you want to get your screen brighter, changing it from there to there, but like you can't even get into settings here. This is it for settings. It's a locked system. That's going to be the only thing I'm going to ding it for. Other than that, I find this tool to be extremely capable, very snappy too, and definitely bidirectional in every way you can think of. So pretty cool, pretty neat. The UDIAG X-60. I've never worked with UDIAG before. I've never worked with one of these tools. I'm very pleased with this. I'll leave a link to where you can get one, and I'll see you next time, my friends. Take care.